So everybody, welcome to a new year and Tools at Tea Time
On Tuesdays,
with
Tim and Anna.
Woo! Happy New Year, everybody! Glad to see you all. Yeah. Oh, wait, Anna, are you drinking tea? I don't think you're drinking tea.
Well, it is a special kind of tea today.
Oh, so is mine. Cheers, everybody.
Woo,
Happy New Year.
cheers!
Yeah. So, Anna, do you want to kick off our episode?
Yes, we are so happy to start our new year with all of you wonderful educators. Thank you for joining us today. And we're going to start with our SEL moment. Research has shown the huge effect size of teacher and student belief. So we're going to take a second to think about what your wish for your students, the one wish you have for their new year. What do you believe they can do and deserve? So think about it. And we're going to use a strategy called waterfall. It is a very simple strategy that can be used during synchronous instruction on Google Meet or Zoom. And the cool thing about it is that it allows for wait time. It also, if you're a younger student, it allows for some literacy because it involves reading and writing. And when students are giving time to collect their thoughts, their thinking and discussion deepens. So let's take a second to type your wish for your students into the chat, but don't hit enter or submit until I say the word waterfall. Then watch as the wishes come pouring out. All right, so we're going to take just a few seconds here. Go ahead and type on the chat, but do not hit submit.
Think about what you think your students are capable of and what you're hoping for them for this year, what you're wishing for them for this year. We need some think music.
I know.
Actually, research would say think music interferes with thinking, but. So nice to see so many of you again. I hope you all had a great break.
Yeah, they're all thinking very hard. One wish for your students. Tim, are we ready?
I think we're ready. Let's have the waterfall. Wait, has everybody turned on their chat? Go ahead.
Waterfall. Yay. All right. Peace and clarity. Virtual environment, connections. I'm just like, it was a lot. Empowerment, purpose, inspiration, connection.
Fullest of their future selves.
Faith. Yes.
And enjoyment. Wow, that's a good one to remember. Enjoyment.
Engagement. That's awesome. The one cool thing about Waterfall is that if you're using the chat feature, you can always save it, right? You can save it, you can share it. So you might want to try Waterfall with your students.
Okay. So I think we're going to go on down our road here and we'll take a second to read our fan mail letter of the week that'll kind of set us on our theme and tool. So Anna, will you want to read our fan mail from this week?
Absolutely. And the cool thing is that it is not an imaginary fan. It is a real fan.
What?
From Autumn Rivera in Glenwood Springs. So she wrote, "Dear Tim and Anna, I'd like to solve one big problem that I've found challenging during distance learning. There are so many great digital tools, but they each require opening a different window and losing logins." Oh, yes, we know that. "This is a struggle for my students, especially those using phones and notebook computers with small screens. And then I have to open so many programs to monitor their progress. Exhausting. Any solutions? Happy New Year, Autumn Rivera, Glenwood Middle School teacher."
Yeah, and I don't know, Anna, but I've been hearing this from a lot of teachers. And we had a whole section, if you're a whole episode about working memory overload when you're trying to manage 5 windows and the kids are like, I can't see the document, and you're trying to keep instruction moving forward. Everybody gets exhausted. So, um, I'd like to take a quick poll because we've been advocating all along about digital tools to think this way about it. And this is how I discovered the digital tool that we're going to look at this week, which is to identify what it is, the challenge that you're trying to solve, and then think about what tools you might have at your disposal. So I'm going to go ahead and launch a quick poll to ask you, and you can vote for as many of these as you're experiencing. But which of the following do you, can you guys see the poll okay, Anna?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, which of the following do you or your students find challenging? Check whichever ones you're finding challenging. A, having multiple windows open at the same time. Wasted time waiting for students who cannot access whatever it is that you're trying to do. Time pressure to convert your lessons into digital form. Asynchronous quick checks for understanding. They're out there and you want to know if they're getting it or not, and you can't read their faces. Asynchronous instructions when students can't yet read. Like if you teach younger learners that are not yet readers, or students, older students who just struggle with reading, trying to reach them across the distance. Real-time knowledge about who's participating and who's not participating, especially when they have their cameras off. Are they doing it or not doing it? And finally, providing timely, targeted feedback, letting them know what they're, helping them to understand what they get and what they don't get, and to give them feedback when they need it. So click any of those that you tend to be struggling with, or you can click 2 or 3 that are your top things. Give you another minute or so. Okay, I'm going to reveal the results so that you all can see it. Share the results. Okay, is it showing results?
Yeah, I can see the results, and when I hosted, I couldn't see them.
Yeah, thank you for,
There you go.
yeah.
But that's why we're such a good team.
So what is it, which ones, were there any that rose above the others?
So we have a couple that got 67%. The first one is real-time knowledge of who's participating. And the
Mhm.
second one is providing timely, targeted feedback. Those are the top ones. We have a couple that got 50%, and I'll share those.
Okay.
Asynchronous quick checks for understanding. And then the last one is having multiple windows open at the same time.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, that kind of sets the tone for what we're going to look at today. This week's theme is interactivity and formative assessment without the hassle. That's just easy, where you can easily see what they're getting, what they're doing, what they're not doing, and interactivity in which they're engaged in doing most of the time. So, how do we get those things in this sort of continuing online and even into the future? I think most schools are going to transition back, but there's going to be some hybrid, there's going to be some going back out of school again. And so I'm going to ask you a set of questions. First, what if you could easily include all of these tools into a single lesson without requiring your students to click any outside links or open any new windows? Including interactive videos like Edpuzzle, where there's a video with embedded questions they have to answer while they're watching the video. Polls and quizzes like Zoom, even if you're using Google Meet or and you're not using Zoom. What if you could include in your lesson without any links or clicks, Flipgrid, where you give the students a video instructions about what they're doing, and they can send you back videos talking about their work and showing their work. Padlet, interactive bulletin boards where students can share their ideas and brainstorm. Drawing tools like you have in Pear Deck. Um, Annotatable docs. So you give them like an article or a reading and you want them to annotate while reading, circle the words you don't know, highlight. And competitive games like the ones that Kevin Marlett, who's on today, mentioned in his session. Games, kind of like Classcraft, but it's all in one lesson where they don't have to click or open any other apps or any other windows. What if you could do that? Second question, what if you could check the word? Oh, skipped ahead. Sorry. Back up. Got the cart going too fast. what if you could check the work that they're doing in all of these different things in Padlet on the bulletin board from a single menu while they're doing it in real time? Like not have to flip from program to program and wait till later to see what they got. And what if you could click with a click of the mouse, you could pop in ready to go content from these kind of reputable resources: Vocabulary, National Geographic, FET Interactives, Newsella articles. Beth, who's on today, mentioned Desmos, the math tool, and BBC and ReadWorks. What if you had all of those tools and you could just click them and they'd be in your lesson? And finally, the last three questions. What if the same exact lesson could be delivered in class face-to-face, or synchronously online, or asynchronously? In fact, you could have students in all three doing them all at the same time. Some kids are doing this lesson asynchronously, and other kids are right in front of you doing it. What if you could simply add all of those tools I mentioned to your existing Google slide deck or to your own PowerPoint so that you don't have to start over? You could just use your existing slide deck. Or better yet, what if someone else created the lesson and all you had to do was to go in and substitute and put in information that you want to include and tweak it and put in activities that you'd like instead of having to create from scratch? Well, that brings us to this week's tool, a tool that I discovered called Nearpod, because I needed to create asynchronous lessons for pre-service university teachers for a program I was doing at the museum. And I found Pear Deck, which I loved, and I think a lot of you like it. But there were certain things it wouldn't do. And I was like, I won't do that. So I started looking, well, what would do this? What would do that? And I found this amazing tool called Nearpod. Give us a thumbs up if any of you out there are currently using Nearpod already. I see Tracy's got a thumb up. I'm looking around. Okay, well, let me then jump out real quickly and just show you exactly how easy Nearpod is. And then we are going to mention that there are a couple disadvantages to Nearpod, but I want to quickly show you this before I show the disadvantages. Okay, I think you're all seeing my screen. First of all, you're seeing the chat and everything, so let me move this over. Okay, as you see, I have a Google slide deck open, although you could get the add-on for PowerPoint if you prefer PowerPoint. And over here, you'll see that because I have the add-on for Nearpod, I open this add-on for Nearpod, and over here, it allows me to go to a new slide. And let's say I want to drop in a video from BBC. So I can click on that. Right now, it's going really slow. I think it's because maybe I'm doing this while I'm on Zoom at the same time. But videos come up and you click on the video you want. Okay, loaded. Let's say it's Athens and democracy, although you can search and there's hundreds of topics. So I do that, and now I've just added a video to my slide. Okay, there's the video. And let's say that I come down here and I want to add in like a Padlet board for them to do. And so I just clicked on that board that says collaborate board. And it will come up and I type in what it is I want them to brainstorm about. Sorry, this is going a little bit slower than normal. And I think it's because I'm on Zoom while doing it. So I type in a question I want them to come up with Post-its, and I click save it. And there, added into my deck is now a Padlet slide where I'm going to get out there what they already know about the topic. And so you're like, so this is just adding in these activities, and the other activities are like draw it, where you can have them draw a picture or model, 3D field trips where they can go out into the field and look at it 3D. Here's Flipgrid where they can actually add a video. Matching pairs is a game I'll show you in a minute. Memory tests where it's like flashcards. Here's a PDF viewer. But by the way, if you add a PDF in this draw it, then you can have them read the article and annotate it as they go along. And there's a number of other things. You can add polls and quizzes, and you can use this live or you can use this asynchronously. Now, what does it look like on the student end of things? On the student end of things, here's what they would see when they opened my slide deck. Here's just a static Google slide I created. But then I'm going to do a social emotional check-in with them about what's filling your bucket this week and what's draining it. And here is the actual bulletin board they see. And so they're able to click on, I'm going to do a post-it, and they can drag or they can type in what they want to put on their post-it, and then they can save it, and it creates a post-it on the bulletin board. Then here's a video. I wanted them to watch a video. And in this video, I've embedded questions along the way, just like you would if you were in Edpuzzle. But you've noticed they haven't had to leave this slide presentation once to do all these things. Here's another couple of examples. Here's a live video again embedded in what a student sees. Here's a static slide. And here's a matching game. You can match the field trip adventure with its short description. So I see, okay, become a paleontologist in this studio program, uncover clues from the past in order to imagine what it's like. Let's see, I'm gonna click that one, and I bet that one might be called Lung Lab. Oh, it tells me no, that's not right. Well, maybe it's called Unearth Colorado. Oh, that's still not right. And there's a matching game embedded. And you can put pictures in here if your students are not readers, or you can introduce simple vocabulary with definitions on the matching card. And so that gives you an idea what it looks like on the student end. I'd like to show you what it looks like on the teacher end. This is the teacher dashboard, and I click reports. Here is a report for one of my classes, and it's fetching the data. And I'm going to click on here. Okay, 38 students. Let me show you what I have. Hang on just a second. It's kind of locked up. And it hasn't locked up. Again, I think it might be because I'm scrolling right now. Hang on just a second. Fetching report data. Okay, let's see. I think I needed the second one there. Here we go.
And I see that there's someone with their hand raised.
Oh, great. Why don't you go ahead and let them ask their question, and then I'll show you the teacher dashboard.
Yeah, Tabby, what's your question?
Hi, I'm in Indiana, just FYI.
Oh, hi.
Welcome to Colorado.
So I have half my kids in the classroom and half on Zoom every day. So I just wondered if you could talk a little bit if there's any areas as you go through where it might be different, whether they're in the room or at home. Would everybody just need to be joining the Nearpod, or would everyone have to be on Zoom even if they're in the room?
Well, no, they wouldn't have to be on Zoom, but they could, if they have devices, they could all be on Nearpod so that they're all doing the same activity. And you can either set it to be completely independent, or you can have them working on it in a session where you actually control it from the board, so that like it blocks them from looking at the next thing until you reveal it. Or you can show the video on the screen in front, and they have to watch the screen in front, and then the questions in the video pop up on their individual devices. So there's a lot of flexibility. Let me show you that in just 1 second. I'll show you that. Right now you can see here's the session report from the teacher, and it tells you how many students answered or skipped, how many got correct answers. You can look at each thing. You can look at the open-ended questions, and here is the actual typed responses of the students. You can look at their Collaborate board and look and see at the post-its that they posted on their Collaborate board. And here's what they wrote on their post-its. So you're getting to see Padlet and everything from this one kind of menu. Okay, let me show you real quickly. I'm going to back up because you had a great question about how could I control this myself? Here is the lesson, and you notice I can click on live participation and Zoom, in which case you might just have them all face to face in the classroom and some on Zoom, or you could just do live participation where everybody's in the classroom together. Or you can do student paced, where they're all asynchronous at home, and you're watching the dashboard and you can see who's working and who's not, and you can reach out to them via a text, or get on or have open a Zoom meeting room where they can come on and you can help them. So that they could be working independently and asynchronously. But there's all three options for how they interact with the Nearpod.
And Tim, just so
yeah.
you know, I'm giving you your your
10-minute?
time warning.
Okay, well, I want to make sure we get to the part where everybody gets to talk to each other about what they're noticing. And I will stay on, as most presenters have afterwards, to talk a little bit about about questions you might have. Let me quickly show you, though, before we go to discussion, what are a couple of disadvantages. So first of all, how do the students get on? How do they access? It's really easy. There's a few different ways. One is you can give them a join code like you would Kahoot, and they just go to joinnearpod.com and they type in the join code like they would on Kahoot, or you can link it and put a link in your learning management system. They can be invited through Google Classroom, or you can send them an email, all from Nearpod. The only two downsides, and I'll give you, these are the two downsides that I see. One is that when you do animations on your Google slides and they become Nearpod slides, you lose your animations. Now, I would argue you don't need to animate much if they're doing more than they're watching, right? The static slides are going to become really secondary. But the second thing is cost. There is a silver edition, which is free. And I would suggest that if you're going to try this, create one unit for free. You get 100 megabytes for free. See how you like it. See how your students like it. And you can continue to use that for free using up to 40 students per session. And most people don't have more than 40 in one class session. Okay, so that's a way to try it out for free. And then if you decide you like it, it's $10 per month or $120 per year. So let's go to our breakout next, Anna. And then at the end, I'll be around to answer any questions if people have them.
All right, so we are going to our breakout rooms, and here's what you're going to discuss. I will put this on the chat as soon as you're in your breakout rooms. Before the pandemic, there were things that you wished you could do better. I know I always do. Identify one of those things. How might you improve your face-to-face instruction using digital tools you've acquired during pandemic teaching?
In other words, we've often thought about like it as a deficit. Since I can't do that in the classroom, I'll have to use this digital tool. But think in the opposite. Think about what digital tool you got now that you're sure you'll keep using.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go to breakouts. Welcome back, everybody. We did want to mention that you should check with your administrators if you're interested in a subscription, because a lot of administrators have budgets, especially this year, to give you those tools that you need. And Anna had an important comment about where, how you might be able to get that subscription paid for.
Yeah, because schools and districts are being given CARES money. And you should check to see if that could be spent with digital. I know our district spent quite a bit of CARES money in digital stuff. So that is something to think about. And when you think about it, $10 is less than what you spend on coffee sometimes. So something to think about.
All right, so Anna, let's go ahead and take this home.
All righty. I think that's you, Tim.
It is me.
Yeah.
We've reached the end, my friends. And don't forget that we have resources kept in episode folders there. Anna, if you don't mind copying and pasting that into the chat for this and past episodes. And also, if you go to our website, dmns.org, and look at tools at tea time, you can find videos of all of our past episodes in case there's a topic that catches your interest. We put these videos out there about a day or two after the session. And Anna, I'll let you talk about next week.
Yes, we are so excited that you spent this half an hour with us, and join us next week because we will have Robbie Mackley. She is our digital learning coach.
Hey,
Yep.
Robbie's on. Hi, Robbie.
With us tonight. And she is going to do a lot of talking about Book Creator. And we're very excited about all the new things we're going to learn from her.
Tabby says it's not tea time in Indiana. No, I guess it's dinner time, supper, almost. Yeah. Just to let you know, we have a course, we have a 2 workshop series, and you can join us for one or both starting this Saturday. from 9 until noon this coming Saturday. Exploring new worlds and learning. Each of these 2 sessions will be slightly different, where we look at topics like giving timely feedback when you're in a remote environment, or building community in a remote environment. So if you're interested in that, go to our website and sign up for one of our professional development sessions. Also, don't forget, we have some very special upcoming episodes in January and February by national presenters. Paige Keeley, who's a national bookseller, a person who's been published nationally and presenter at big conferences, and also John Almarode are both going to be here in January and February, and we hope you'll come back for them.
Yes, and if you had fun, please tell your friends to join us and let us know what topics would be useful to you. I'm super excited about all of these awesome presenters coming up. So until next week with Robbie, be good to yourself, and bye-bye.
Bye-bye. We'll hang on in case people have questions afterwards, but happy New Year's, everybody.
It's a baby for everybody.
Oh, look at Laurel, baby Laurel. Welcome to the world.